disappearance of his girlfriend 10 years ago. A Franklin County special grand jury indicted Paul Jordan II on charges of second-degree murder and concealing a body. 22-year-old Heather Hodges disappeared in 2012. Jordan, who was her boyfriend at the time, reported her missing 2 days after her family last saw her alive. Court records show that Jordan has a criminal history that includes both felony and misdemeanor convictions, and he's currently incarcerated on an unrelated charge. Pennsylvania County authorities seized 68 dogs from a home in Hurt earlier this week. A search warrant was served at the residence on Peninsula Place in Hurt, but the exact location wasn't disclosed. Authorities discovered dozens of dogs, both male and female, in a variety of breeds and ages. Many of the canines appeared to be in poor condition. The owner faces charges, and the Pennsylvania Pet Center was closed to the public earlier this week while staff members helped out following the seizure of the dogs. The Lynchburg Police Department has a new color scheme for its patrol vehicle fleet. The 2 new vehicles are only black with white along the side doors with the words Lynchburg Police and the department's logo. Lynchburg Police Chief Ryan Zudema says the transition is part of an overall rebranding of the police department. He says the vehicles will be more visible and recognizable by the public moving forward while enhancing the safety of the officers operating them. As additional vehicles reach the end of their lifespan, they'll be replaced with vehicles that have this new branding. It's 7:36 on the morning line on this Friday, Good Friday, the 15th of April. Mary White along with Brian Wiegand. Anthony Biscuit McAvoy is here as well. And we also want to let you know that speaking of those new police vehicles, the City of Lynchburg Police Foundation, the Lynchburg Police Foundation, is going to be the beneficiary of the upcoming Moose Lodge 3rd Annual Car Show, which is coming up on the 16th of April. And you can go to the car show, and I guess you pay an admission to get in, and then the proceeds will benefit the Lynchburg Police Foundation.
On Lakeside, this is the Lakeside Drive-In, I take it, 7:15?
Right. That's 7:15, that's right. Look at you with your Moose Lodge knowledge.
That's right. I've been to that Moose Lodge on many occasions, as a matter of fact.
What were you doing there?
Hanging out with my dad, mostly.
Cool, okay. And so they will have these new police cars on display for the car show. I don't think you can buy them or probably drive them, but they will be there for for everybody to look at, and then all the other cool cars that will be there as well. So, and it benefits the, the Lynchburg Police Foundation on Saturday, April 16th. All right, we're joined in the studio by our friends from Central Technology Solutions, Team CTS, Tommy Vaughn and Sherry Arthur. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Did you hear that conversation about Bumble?
A little bit.
At all? Is Bumble, I mean, should we be nervous about things like this as from a cybersecurity, I guess just people trying to get your information perhaps, or, yeah.
Well, I'd stay away from Bumble altogether anyway,
Right.
for a number of reasons that have nothing to do with cybersecurity.
Right. That is a good point. But from a cybersecurity
Right. Well,
standpoint.
You got to think there's a portion of risk in anything that you put your information into, right? Especially those surveys that are like, hey, vote for this person, click here.
Never click on anything on Facebook.
Right.
Yeah, or the internet in general, unless you know where you're going. So you might be surprised at what you find or something you don't want.
Be careful. So we're going to talk about cyber fitness, and we need to be thinking about this much like we would our physical fitness. But Tommy, this kind of relates to the fundamentals of IT, right?
It does. In fact, Sherry and I were just having a conversation before the show started about the principles and how you can apply them to almost anything in life, or at least anything you want to do well. And just to recap on that is to prepare for whatever you're going to do, right? And in IT, there's a lot of preparation. You have to identify what you're doing. You need to protect that. You need to detect if something bad is happening or something that you need to know is happening. You got to be able to respond to those incidents and then recover from them. But there are a lot of things in our life that can make that happen. So we talk about being cyber fit. I know being fit's important to me. It's important to our staff. And CTS, we have Y memberships for all of our staff and their families. Encourage them to go out and stay fit. And the other thing that I personally do is I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with Brian down at Nomad, and it's
Not this Brian.
not this Brian, although he should come. I think he would really enjoy it.
Now, what is, just real quickly, jiu-jitsu, you have your shirt on,
I do.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu. What is the difference between Brazilian versus other jiu-jitsu?
Well,
and-
it's
Is it
really
relaxing?
the only Jiu-Jitsu, right?
Relaxing.
So the the grappling is kind of the not necessarily MMA, but it's a portion of it. And the Gracie family started that many years ago. So it's like wrestling, except for you're actually trying to rip somebody's arm off or neck or choke them, and it's combat sports, which we'll talk about being a cyber warrior related to that. But the reason I wanted to bring that up is, we at CTS take things very serious when it comes to the health of our customers, the health of our company, protecting them, being cyber fit, being a cyber warrior, because it is war, right? And so how do we accomplish that? And these fundamentals we talked about help get us there. But we also are globally recognized by Channel Futures, which is our peers, right? And the industry saying that what we're doing, the way we're doing it, is what's leading IT. So that's a global recognition. So you can do Jiu-Jitsu or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, however you want to call it, anywhere. There's a lot of different places. But why would I choose Nomad and Brian? Brian's the only international Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion here, right? Like 5-time black belt champion,
Wow.
right? It is no joke. So he's the best. He's the best at what he does. That doesn't mean other schools aren't good, but he's the best. And how do we know that? He still competes. He's doing that. Even in 2021, he was competing, right? He's still competing today. So we're competing at CTS. That's why we're globally recognized, just like he's internationally recognized. So that's one of the reasons that I chose that, and I enjoy combat sports anyway. And that's why I'm a 5 a.m.er. I get up at 5 a.m. I either work out or do jiu-jitsu. So those are important, but that carries over to everything in life, right? And the reason we do it, and the reason that I take the time to be the best at what we do, is because I have responsibility to the staff, to our customers, to be the best that we can be and not leave somebody hanging in one of these areas. I mean, you can have an IT company, but is your IT company being tested? Are they being tested by not locally, but globally, internationally? Is what they're doing for you actually meeting what you think they're doing for you? And if you're not sure, we can help. We can come, just do a check, right? We can do some scans and do some auditing and help you figure out whether or not you're actually covered. Because it is war. I mean, cybersecurity is a thing. And we see it not only with the war in Ukraine, but it's a war every day. You talk about Bumble and you're protecting your data. And, I've seen some really good companies go out of business because they didn't take it seriously. That, they are on the internet. They are in the cyber world, which makes them a target because it is warfare.
And being a cyber warrior, it's much like, I guess, physical fitness. It doesn't just happen to you being passive about it. You have to actively work out to become physically fit, much like you would have to be a cyber warrior. You have to actively protect what you're doing. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's spot on. I think, we were talking about the different categories of a foundation for an IT company. And that's really what Tommy was explaining. And that applies to any area of your life. I think you do a better job at explaining this.
When Tommy said something about you could apply it to beer drinking,
And
right?
you could. I mean, as a little exercise we did is to applying this to our lives is, I prepare for going out and partying by pre-gaming.
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but pre-gaming's a thing. I identify where I want to go, and then I protect myself with one of those little things you put over your drink so that, nobody can put a roofie in it, because I'm worried about that
okay,
for me.
Okay, right.
So, and then a way to detect it, like your fingernail polish, if it's in there, and then how to
Wow.
respond to it, right? So if
Right.
something goes on, I'm going to run to the bathroom and recover the next day.
Right.
With some
So
Tylenol.
with some Tylenol and lots of sleep. So
Well,
it's
yeah.
it is a thing.
Yeah, that just preparing for, or even another protecting would be just making sure you're going to have a designated driver, or you're not
Yeah.
going to
Right.
drink too much, or you're not, those kinds of
Right.
things too.
Right.
So it's everything in your life, just being prepared and the fundamentals of everything you do.
So why is that important? Just like jiu-jitsu is to me, I enjoy it because it helps me physically, mentally, and also if something pops off physically, I can handle myself, right?
Mhm.
Because I practice. You're only as good as you practice, and I practice all the time. It's important. Well, on the cyber side, I mean, if you think about your company, like right now, and your customers, and I think most people who have companies, especially small, medium-sized companies, really care about their customers and appreciate them. So wouldn't it be bad if you didn't take, meaning you're the company that didn't take cyber serious, and there's an event and their information leaks out and those companies got hurt because you didn't take it serious? And then you're the reason that these families and these companies are not around anymore. People are out looking for jobs, all because you didn't take it serious. Not to mention the cyber insurance side of it, or going to court, because that's now a thing. And it is a real concern. And I would encourage companies, if you're not 100% sure, you are not being it's not being verified. Let's go back to Reagan, trust but verify. If you haven't seen a third-party audit of what is going on within your cyber world, I highly recommend it. We actually have a company that partners third party, and we pay them to look at our processes and see what we're doing and what we could do better. I think Sherry said it best. We were at the office the other day talking about how cybersecurity is a lot like boxing. You kind of gotta jab and you gotta move. You can't just stand there because you're gonna get hit, right? So you still gotta weave. You gotta do what you need to do to stay on top of it. Because if you stand there, you're gonna get knocked out, right? It's gonna happen.
I think another key point to this as well is, growing up, I was in the martial arts industry, and my dad, he is the grandmaster of super kicks karate.
Really?
Yeah, Lawrence
cool.
Arthur.
Okay.
So anybody knows Lawrence Arthur, I'm the daughter. Hey. And just growing up, I remember going to the karate school, and I'm like in there practicing a form or something for a tournament, and he's like, "Sherry, the way you practice is the way you perform." And I was like, whatever, Dad. Yeah. So I started noticing that the way I would practice in the karate school is exactly how I would perform. So apply that to cybersecurity. The way you practice your cybersecurity at home or in the office is the exact way you're going to do it at home or in the office. So if you don't take it seriously, you're not going to execute it seriously. So yeah, I think that was a big piece kind of growing up.
And we should note that this is in no way, or you all have said this is no way trying to disparage IT departments. A
Not at all.
company's
No.
IT person or IT departments, it's not that they're doing a bad job. It's just such a bigger picture situation that they might not be aware of everything that's going on within the industry.
That's true, and a lot of times it's unfortunate. A company will hire an IT person and give them. I mean, it's a good job, but they're busy putting out fires, not waking up at 5 a.m., being a cyber warrior, being in industry events, being tested against that, like we talked about. So IT in general, a lot of IT people tend to kind of protect their little environment, and they really don't want somebody like us coming in to look because they think we're there to take it over, which is not the case. We actually can take a lot of heavy lifting off, especially with managing equipments and firewalls and reporting and the 6 fundamentals here. We can do a lot of that for an existing IT department so that they can check those boxes, and we'll handle that for them, and they can handle managing their endpoints, managing their their third-party software, stuff like that.
And we've run the phishing scam. We've run it on 3 of our main machines now, so we can get those results. Okay, Tommy, I'm kind of scared.
We are.
Yeah, can't wait for that
Yeah.
news.
Yeah, so it's important, and I'm glad you brought that up because we are definitely going to sit down and talk about it. A lot of what people do, and they don't realize, it's your best practices, your policy procedures that can help protect you the most, like not saving username, passwords, and browsers because it's not encrypted. And a lot of times we'll see there'll be one person will have 30 websites with the same password and username, versus having, some type of like LastPass, which we've talked about, which is a password keeper and everything's different. But little things like that make a big difference.
You know what that is, Brian? That's poor.
Is it poor cyber hygiene?
It's
It
poor cyber
is.
hygiene, right?
It is. It's almost as bad as like squatting in the back of your truck. But not quite.
Not quite. Not quite. All right.
Or squatting in the basement of a house, but we'll talk about
we're
that
going to talk
later.
about that later. Yes, when you buy a house with people already living in the basement, that we really have that story coming up. Tommy Vaughn and Sherry Arthur, Central Technology Solutions, Team CTS, and you guys. Well, just real quickly, Tommy, the services that you provide.
Right. So we are not your average IT company. We are here to help protect, provide you support. Come check out our website, see the videos, customer testimonials. Customer experience is number one. And we're here to make sure that you have peace of mind.
So we have a question from a listener here, and I think I know the answer, but he's wondering, you offer services for smaller companies that don't have IT departments?
Absolutely. We can be your IT department.
Yes.
So there you are.
TeamCTS.com.
That's right.
Thank you both so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian, Mary, thank you.
Hi, I'm Rhonda Holt, below
Bye, guys.